What's up, fellow drivers? So, I wanted to talk to you today about a company that I've had experience with, um, and it's not been pleasant. I mean, it started off that I thought was going to be good and thought everything was going to be just fantastic. I started working for Western Express about 3 weeks ago, and thought everything was going to be fine. I've worked for this company in the past, and they've did me wrong in the past before, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt on, you know, hoping that they've improved and hoping that things has changed as they have rebuilt this terminal here in Nashville after the tornado took it down, and was hoping that, after the rebuild and their new policy has changed, and the pay increase was, has been changed to where there was more pay for the drivers, that they have changed to the point to where I thought that it was going to be a decent company. I come in, was considering doing a company driver. I actually did not do company. I actually went to lease purchase. I've drove their company trucks. Did not have a good experience with the company trucks at all. Your days of orientation was the absolutely worst. It was garbage. They put you in this hotel that is owned by Western Express, they say, and it's nothing but Western Express drivers, that is in the ghetto of Nashville. And no disrespect by that or by them, but it's just a really bad area. You've got ladies walking up and down the road all the time, working the streets, trying to make a dollar. Just a lot of bad area right there. And after you go through your orientation, you come here to the Nashville terminal on your first day. You basically just watch a bunch of videos, either on your phone, or they've got a little computer class that you watch the videos on. It varies on your experience level. If you come in as an experienced driver, I think you got to watch like 33 of them. There was a guy that had to watch almost 200 one time, and they believed it was a glitch in the system, but I think the most I've seen was like 60-something other videos for a company driver that's fresh out of school. Then your second day you come in, you got a bunch of classes. You got to be in person and basically listen to them talk about the company and how they work. You got ELD class. Then after you go through that, depending on if you're going to be flatbed or van, depending on how much longer your orientation is. If you're going to be flatbed, you got 3 days of load securement. Then, depending, like I said, on your driving experience, depends on whether or not you got to go out with a trainer. If you're a van, on your third day, basically, you're pretty much done. They assign you a truck, or if you're lease purchase like I was, you go look at a truck and make a decision whether or not you're willing to take that truck or not. If you don't take that truck, they pretty much tell you. I do recall the woman telling me, I'm not going to mention her name, but specifically said that if you don't like the trucks, then go somewhere else. All because the trucks that they had was trashed. I mean, they was dents all over the sleepers, missing fairings, broken stuff all over the dash, just a lot of stuff that was damaged on the trucks. And they expect you to take that truck and to fix it on your own and pay for it out of your pocket, and still pay for the truck I've got right now. It's a 2020 Volvo, which I've never had a Volvo. I've never liked a Volvo, but I took it because it was one of the cleanest trucks they had. It wasn't nothing major wrong with it. It had some stuff that was broken that as soon as I got it, I had to do some work onto it myself on my own time, which that puts me as well as not just having to work on the truck, but that's downtime of me not making money because I'm not getting a drive. So I took it home, my very first load. I ran, I think, for about 2 weeks. Then I finally got to go home. After I finally did my home time, I had to spend my home time pretty much other than a couple hours working on the truck. I mean, there was fairings it was missing and broken and dangling off the truck. They had to take off all my own fairings. There was 6 or 7 blown fuses in the dash that I've had to go through the whole entire dash and find out what was working, what wasn't working. There was a bunch of buttons on my dash that wasn't working that I couldn't get fixed. My window, it would roll down on the driver's side but wouldn't roll back up. I mean, there was just a lot of things that Western could have done better before they said this truck is ready to lease out to a driver to make money with. And then they tell you on your contract that you signed for if you're lease purchase that you get 2 weeks off with no truck payment. 2 weeks. After then 2 weeks is up, you start paying for the truck. I got my truck, and it was at the end of the week. Payday ends on Saturdays and starts again on Saturdays at midnight. I got my truck on a Friday, and they only gave me 1 day of that week, which they counted that as a full week without a truck payment, even though I only had the truck for 1 day. So I thought that they, me and, everybody talked about it. And I thought they was going to, give me an, extra week since I only had the truck for 1 day. And so my second week, I made good money because I didn't have the truck payment, and they gave me the miles. I ran good. I think I brought home $1,200 some of the dollars, which ain't the best for a lease purchase. I know I've leased a bunch of trucks in my past. I've made a whole lot more money than that with a lease truck, and I know how much freight charge is right now. I know that it's a lot more than what I made. I know that they made a lot of money off of me, and the driver, as me, I did not make as much as I know I could have. Then my third week, which is the week I'm on right now, they kind of screwed me because my recruiter told me, and in orientation, that you get paid for loaded miles and empty. So my understanding, I was getting paid, like if I picked up a load, delivered that load, and then my next load to pick up was 200 miles down the road. My understanding, I was getting paid to pick up that load, even though I know the pay range is going to vary from, empty miles versus loaded miles. I know that was going to vary, but my understanding, I was supposed to get paid for some empty miles as well. Well, I got my paycheck stub today, and I can show you the proof of it. I can show you my past pay stubs. I mean, I'm not going to mention names with who I'm working with here at Western, who my driver manager is and all this. But, I mean, because in all reality, it's not my driver manager's fault. I mean, he has done a really wonderful job. I mean, he has done his job. He has not done anything wrong to me. In all reality, I blame it on Western, the company itself. But on my third week on my paycheck, I was negative $767.48. And the reason of that being is because they didn't give me the miles at all. I had 2 runs that week that was hardly any miles. All my loaded miles altogether was 1,500 something miles, and I could do that stand on my head any day of the week. But I had a lot of empty miles by going and picking up their loads for them and trying to get places and trying to find empty trailers for them to pick up, and so I went in this morning. I messaged my driver manager to talk to him about it, and I told him that, we had a problem, that it wasn't nothing he's done. It was something that was a problem with me, myself, and that I need to try to figure out what was going on. I explained to him about, the load that I picked up and where I delivered to, that, it was supposed to be me, that was supposed to be a load for me to go home because, my daughter, she was in the hospital. She was very, very sick, having surgery, and I was supposed to be home on a Friday. They wasn't able to even get me home on a Friday. It turned out it was a Saturday to where I had to deliver that load in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I delivered the load, and they was supposed to, from there, that load was supposed to get me to the house, which I live in Tennessee. And so they didn't have an empty trailer where I delivered at. I was told they didn't have any. And they wanted me to go to a TJ, the planner sent me a message to go to a TJ Maxx to pick up a empty trailer. So I headed 35 miles to go pick up this empty trailer. I get there to the address, and I was not allowed to bobtail in, and the woman at the place that I was supposed to be picking up this empty trailer said that it wasn't, the people that are here that are not allowing you to bobtail in. They said that Western Express has called them personally and said that we're not allowed to let anybody bobtail in to pick up any trailers. So I was confused on why I was told to go to a TJ Maxx whenever Western Express's rules was that you was not allowed to bobtail into a TJ Maxx to pick up an empty trailer. Why would you send me 35 miles out of my way to waste my time and my money? So I told whoever told me to go to the TJ Maxx to give me a call, because I wanted to find out why they told me to go there whenever they know that that was Western Express's rules. So they never did call me. Finally, I ended up calling them. None of the driver managers could tell me anything. Sorry about that. Hang on, I got a phone call. Let me mute this. So the driver manager never could tell me anything. Finally, they ended up putting a supervisor on the phone, and he apologized to me and tried to make it right. He told me to go back to the place I delivered at and said they just now got a trailer empty, to pick up that empty trailer, then to head home. And so they sent me a load assignment to actually head back towards the house, as if I was getting paid to head back towards the house as a deadhead pay. And that was the whole agreement. That was the whole understanding that, we made. So I ended up driving from Atlanta, Georgia back to the house, which was 200 and something other miles. And I ended up spending almost $200 in fuel because I was low on fuel. I mean, I try to run just the right amount of fuel to get from that load from point A to point B. That way I'm not spending a lot of money on fuel. And so I ended up having to buy fuel. That way, I had enough to get back home. So I bought fuel, get back home, and everything was going great. I thought everything's fine. And so my very next week, I started driving back for them. I left out on Monday. Everything was perfect, fine. I had a really good week. I ran areas that I really did enjoy, driving. Then, like I said, this morning I got my paycheck stub and seen that, and I was told by them that we don't get paid any empty miles whatsoever. So you're telling me that I'm a lease purchase driver, and I'm driving, even though I own this truck, or I'm making payments on this truck. Let me rephrase that. I'm making payments on this truck that has been trashed, basically, and I'm having to fix it up as well as I go along. That I'm doing a job for you guys to go pick up your loads, and I don't get paid any empty miles whatsoever, even though it's for you guys. And if I deny the load because there's too many empty miles, you're going to start giving me bad loads. I really honestly think that Western Express has failed on their communication and actually being a good company to work for. I mean, in all reality, I honestly think Swift as bad as I hate to say that, I honestly think Swift treats their drivers better than Western Express. At least with Swift, if you do lease purchase, you get a new truck that is not destroyed. If it is destroyed, they fix it right then and there. On the company side, I can't really say too much on Swift. I've drove for them, and I made really good money as a lease purchase with Swift. Really good money. They have all kinds of freight. All kinds. I was told today that I'm sitting here at the National Terminal right now. I was supposed to pick up a load that was deadhead 113 miles to Stevenson, Alabama, going up to Baltimore, Maryland. 600 something other miles. I was going to have to sit on this load for 3 days, and I was going to have to eat out of my own pocket 113 miles out of my pocket just to pick up that load for them. And was proceeded to say that that was the best loads that they have, that they don't have hardly any loads coming out of Tennessee whatsoever, or hardly any loads coming out of Alabama. Right now, I know that companies everywhere are very, very short on drivers. Freight is at high demand right now because of the pandemic that went on and is still, I'm assuming, currently still going on. But I honestly don't think that Western is a really good business place to work for. So, I mean, I'm not going to bash them too bad, but I'm trying to give all these drivers that are thinking about coming to Western Express, whether company or lease, a heads up on how they treat their drivers. I mean, you may have a really good driver manager, but depending on who your recruiter was or what they tell you in orientation depends on whether or not it's the right fit for you. Because they may tell you one thing and actually lie to you about everything in all reality. Because I was lied to. I've got a lot of driving experience. The reason why I come to Western Express was I got to an accident in my pickup truck. I rear-ended somebody. I was not in a commercial vehicle whatsoever. I was not drinking, wasn't under the influence of any alcohol or drugs. But I ended up rear-ending a young girl in a newer car, all because I have an older Dodge. And it didn't have the best tires on it, but it was the only thing I could afford at the time. I mean, I'm not rich by no means. So I had an accident. I actually rear-ended her. It was wet. I couldn't stop. And so I hit her. And that showed up on my record. And that was kind of the reason why I come to Western Express. They was pretty much the first ones to call me back. I mean, I know that I could have been doing some more looking, probably found a better company, no problem whatsoever. Like I said, I've got 4 or 5 years driving experience. I mean, I'm no pro. I've still got a lot to learn. I mean, the day that I quit learning will be the day that I hang up my keys because, you know, I've gotten too comfortable. So, you know, just be prepared for what you're coming into. This may be the best fit for you. I don't know. It kind of all depends on your situations and what's going on. I mean, this place was, like I said, they was first ones to call me back. And for one, they was really close to the house. I mean, I'm not far from Nashville, Tennessee. So my thing was, if I went with a company and I got out there and something did happen to where they couldn't hire me, or something did come up to where they wasn't going to be able to bring me on, or whatever the situation was, to where I didn't want to be stuck 1,000 miles away trying to figure out how to get back home if I didn't have the money. So that was kind of the reason, another big reason why I come with Western, is that I know that the terminal was close to the house if something did happen to where it didn't work out. And I know it wouldn't, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. But I just wanted to get on here and explain a little bit of my story and I know that there's been thousands of videos made, from drivers that's worked here or is currently working here from Western Express. I know here recently there was a video of a driver that got stuck up in the snow because Western didn't care nothing about, plowing the parking lot of their own terminal so the drivers could get out. They never did even show up to work. They left the driver stranded. 3 or 4 drivers stranded, would not even, unlock the doors for them so they can go in and use the bathroom. They trusted them in $1,000, $100,000 trucks, but they didn't trust them to go inside of the terminal to let them use the restroom. And that was kind of one of my big things whenever I seen that video and seen how they was treating them drivers. I know that things didn't change. So just heads up, know what you're coming into, do your research, do your studying, outweigh the pros versus the cons, outweigh them, and just know what you're getting yourself into. I know I keep saying that, but I don't want drivers making the decisions that I've made and end up getting themselves to a spot to where they don't have no money and they're struggling. I come out on this road to support my family and to do everything I can to be the best I can for my family. I mean, I have a very, very sick baby that she's got life-threatening conditions and will always have these conditions no matter what. And I took the sacrifice to be away from home to try to support her and to try to cover, transportation to get back and forth to the hospital all the time, and medications and food, and the whole 9 yards with her, diapers, wipes, everything. But Western Express has put me into that situation to where I feel like I have failed my family because I was blindsided. So be prepared for what you're getting into. Know what you're getting into. This may not be the best video. It's kind of my first time ever having to talk about a company. Like I said, I'm not trying to bash them. I'm just trying to be truthful about it. I mean, this is the God's honest truth. And just know what you're getting yourself into. Thank you. Bye-bye.